You sure you got your phone on silent? Oh, mine not on silent.
Happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. Hello, everyone. I'm Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner, certified tax coach. I'm the president, founder, CEO of the Henderson
What are
Financial
things
Group.
on?
Joining me here is my wonderful, talented daughter, Hyacinth Renee Henderson. Hyacinth, tell the people who you are and what do you do here?
Hi, I'm Hyacinth Henderson. Did you just what? Hi, I'm Hyacinth Henderson, and I am the co-CEO at the Henderson Financial Group. The Henderson Financial Group is a full-service financial planning and investment advisory firm based in sunny South Florida. I love what I do here, here, here,
And how,
here.
how long have you been with the
Almost
firm?
22 years.
Yes,
Years.
yes, half your life.
Yeah, half my life.
Half your life. Isn't that something?
Wow, it's a big part of my life, huh?
Half of your
It's a
life
big part of my
learning.
identity.
Yes, learning and
I
creating. It's in
know.
half your life. Think about that. Half your life, you've been in financial services.
It's a long
That's
time.
a long time. And half of your life, you'll be 43 this year. I mean, coming up in a few more months. But I mean, 42 right now, and you've been here just about 42 years. I mean,
Half of my
22
life,
years.
huh?
Half of your life in the financial services industry. I think you know something, huh? If you don't, your head's been in the sand.
Right. I wouldn't have been here
Yeah.
if I didn't
No,
know.
you wouldn't have been here.
Yeah. That
No,
that
you
wouldn't have
no
lasted
no
long.
no 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 no.
With you.
You've been working for the
Yeah.
state or county. Some
Right.
I don't know, but
Somewhere else. Yeah.
good.
But it's
Every,
so interesting. It's still learning and still like as I'm
and there's
like,
so much
gosh,
to
it's
learn, right?
right. It's never
It's
gonna stop.
amazing. It's amazing. But that's
So
a good thing when you're in a field that you like and it's infinite. I mean, it's just continue to grow and expand
mhm.
and as the industry grows and expand and knowledge we are too, and we're very lucky and we thankful, and that's why we're so gracious and happy and wonderful, feel wonderful that we're here to spread all our information, our knowledge, and this growth and this expansion with you, the viewers, the listeners, and our clients also. And if you're not a client, you've just been listening to us for years, it's probably about time for you to become a client and get closer and stop being a spectator and dive in deep, because we know there are some things that we can help you with. Today we have a wonderful show lined up for you, and I was thinking today about the power of relationships, because relationships are so incredibly important and most people take it for granted. Most people want and they don't know, in order to get this, that, or that, or to arrive or to grow, we need each other and we need relationships. We need people. And people think, it's me, 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 me. No one who's worth their salt um, has done it on their own. We all need each other, and we get that way, and we'll achieve those goals and what we really want by helping others and by having relationship with people that of like minds, or people who know more than you, people that can bring more value to you. And it's always more people that have different points of view and different, ideologies and concepts that you to grasp and learn to help you with your endeavors and where you're trying to go. So today's show, we're going to talk about the power of relationship. Now, we're talking about that. I want you to also look inside yourself and see, what type of relationships do you have, and how many relationships, especially when it comes to navigating your life and where you want to go. Do you have a relationship with the tools and the people who you need to have a relationship? What do you think, daughter?
I think that I'm gonna update my signature and start using the R since you like telling people my middle name so much.
Okay, I
Because
like
I,
that.
I was like, why do you keep saying Renee? And I was like, oh, because you like Robert so much. So now I'm gonna start using that. Some people say, do you use your middle initial? I'm gonna start using it with that.
HRH.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing
That
that.
sounds powerful. HRH.
I really like HH, but you keep saying HR.
Oh,
You
you like
keep,
HH? Okay, HH is cool too.
but you just keep telling the whole wide world that my middle name is Renee. So I'm gonna start using it now. When I turn 43, I'm gonna update my signature
Okay.
and use it. The power of a relationship. So I'm so glad that I'm able to know that that means a lot to you, and to honor you in that way.
Yes.
But the power of relationships. When you said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" You know what my first thought was.
What?
We just talked about that. we just talked about the power of relationships. We gonna talk about it again.
Oh, we did
Of course,
this year. Let me talk about this year.
we're
No, we did not talk about the power relationship in 2024. No, we didn't. We started off with power of choice. Yeah.
okay. All right, but hey, it's a great topic. I think really
Because it's very important.
repetition, man.
Repetition. See, she's funning, gaming me and kidding me over here about the repetition, but I am I'm so into repetition. Um, that's how I came to be who I am right now, by repetition and reflecting and introspecting and doing things over and over and over and over into this habit form. And that's why anything I know, it's just like I've done it so many times.
Repeatedly.
It's repeatedly, it's just second nature to me. And I found that most people who they say are so good at whatever they do, the key ingredient that each and every one of them have
Mhm.
is repetition.
Competition,
Doing
yes.
it over and over and
So
over.
we're going to repeat this, but it'll be something different because since the last time we did this topic, I am certain without a shadow of a doubt that you and I have grown in consciousness, and there's something that we didn't speak about last time and we can speak about it this time. So
Excellent.
talking about the power of relationships, I love this topic.
And tell
I
me why you love
because you said that we should talk about it. So why wouldn't I love the topic?
it.
That's why I love the
That's
topic.
not a good answer.
No. So
That's not a good
I
answer.
love the topic because I believe that many people don't really know or understand the power of relationships. And I'm reminded of this every time a stranger or someone who does not have a relationship with me or with somebody else is asking and begging and complaining and being down on themselves and woe is me and I can't do this. And I'm always thinking in the back of my head, well, you don't have relationships. You don't have the relationships, you don't have the connections, and so you think your problem is the outcome that you can see, but the bigger issue is you have not formed these connections. You don't have anyone to call, you don't have anyone to vouch for you, you don't have anyone to back you up, you don't have anyone to pull money, you don't have anyone to pull strings. And so when we drill down and peel back the layers, why is that? Well, that's what I would like for today's show to take a spin on when we talk about the power of relationships, is understanding how you develop relationships and how you nurture relationships, because a connection or knowing someone's name or knowing of someone does not mean that you have a relationship with them.
Right. That's very true. That's excellent. And that's why I wanted to talk about it more, because I wanted to people hear things and they go in this end goes out go out the other. But you gotta let it marinate. You gotta soak this thing in. You gotta live it. You gotta drink it. You gotta drink it and swallow it. You know what I mean? You have to drink it and swallow it. That's what I mean by that. It has to be in you. It has to be in your subconscious mind, not just on the surface, but it's got to be embedded in you. You got to get it here, where it's just second nature. And
So
that's what really, when you know something, you can really explain it.
So for those out there listening, they may be like, you know what? Regardless of where you are, let's think about, excuse me, regardless of where you've been, let's think about where you are and where you want to go. And let's think about who are the people that you have relationships with, not people that you just know, people that you actually have relationships with,
Or you don't.
or you don't. And that's oftentimes, well, I like to start with the ones that you do have relationships with, because oftentimes we think about, oh, I have relationships, I know this person, and then let's unpack and peel back the depths of that relationship. Like, what relate ship relationships is someone that you relate to, ship, and they take you, the relationship takes you to a place, you're going places with this person. So if I ask you to think about the relationships that you have, and you think about Sally, Sarah, and Sean, and all y'all do is meet up on Fridays and go to happy hour and get the 3-for-1 special and pass out and sleep till 2 o'clock on Saturday and then get up and do brunch on Sunday, you have to think those may be your relationships, but where are those relationships taking you, right? So you have those relationships on one hand, but on the other hand, you're saying that you want financial freedom, you want to start your own business, you want to be with the man or the woman of your dreams, you want to do all these things, but the people who you have relationships, ships take you someplace, they're taking you over here, and they're not in alignment with your goals, your visions, your dreams for the future. So when we start with looking at your current relationships, it requires you to do some self-reflection.
Yes, it really does. And let me give you some examples to help get you started, because we don't like to have a show where it's just words and you hear things and doesn't mean anything. We like to dive deep into it so it can marinate and you can relate to it. Okay, so let me give you a relationship, what I mean by that. Last night, I was at the office and I needed an electrician. My electrician for the last 15 years, he moved to Orlando. So that's like 3 hour, 4 hour drive from Miami, okay? South Florida. He moved there and he lives there, Roberto. He was really good. He did For the last 15, maybe 20 years, he's been my electrician. But he moved. His wife and I say South Florida is getting so expensive, and he moved to Orlando. Heisey knows him also. He's done some work for her, but he's gone now. So I said, oh my God, and now I have to cultivate and get another relationship. So I asked Tavares, hey, I need an electrician because the lights by my pergola outside my home. Okay, I said I need all of them to be working. I mean, why? I'm
You
never
have the
really
nerve to talk about me.
that really just perked you. I mean, it tickled you. It's a good
Continue.
story.
The lights by your pergola.
Right. Right on my pergola outside my house in my courtyard. Why is that? Why is that so? Okay, you got to
Keep,
tell me. You got to, because
no,
I'm with the audience. We all wondering why you laughing.
keep going with your.
Are you gonna let us in on the joke?
No.
Okay. All right. That's okay. Okay. I guess all of us, including me, I'm suspicious like you. I don't know why she's giggling over there, but we're gonna. Okay. So let me explain to you what a pergola is.
Exactly.
Okay. So a pergola is like a gazebo or something, out in your courtyard next to your house. Okay. And we have lights around and a TV out there and things like that. Now we go out there and we'll watch the ball game or whatever and have a little pit fire, So anyway, the lights, half of them went out. So I couldn't call Roberto. So I asked Tavares, did he have my relationship with Tavares, who works here? I said, man, I need a good electrician. So Tavares said, I got just a man for you. Anyway, I called this guy. He has a 9 to 5 job, but he does, electrician work on the side. The nicest person you ever want to meet. And I just told Heisey, listen, I got somebody for you. So he came and he fixed my lights, and I had him do some more electrical stuff. And he did it. He did it well. And he says, he asked me, he says, I said, how much you want to charge? He said, I don't know. How much you want to pay me? And I said, huh? And I said, he says, $200. And I said, oh, okay.
How old is he?
How old is he? He's like 40 something.
Okay.
He's 40 something. So he says, I said, okay, so $200. I gave him $50 extra. He said, oh my God, thank you.
I think the TV man is an electrician too.
The TV man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Who did the
Yeah.
I think he might be an electrician.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. Anyway,
yeah. Well, I have him do all kind of stuff at my house. Hang up my drapes
I'm
to the lights.
I'm getting somewhere with here.
I'm sorry.
Power of relationships. So anyway, the guy he did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was probably about 3 weeks ago. 2 days ago, upstairs in my house, the bathroom light, when you got ready to hit the switch, it wouldn't go off.
Okay.
It wouldn't go off when you hit the switch. So I figured, hey, hey,
get on YouTube.
No, I know. I figured,
no,
instead of calling this wonderful electrician out about a light switch, I would just go to Home Depot. I took a picture, I unscrewed it, took a picture of it, and went to Home Depot, found the exact replacement, and I figured I'll come back and I'll just change the part. Well, I got ready to do that, and I changed the part, and I got the screwdriver, and I said exactly what to do. It's like elementary. And I did that, and all of a sudden, sparks start flying all over the place, and the lights just went off. And I looked at the screwdriver, and
oh God,
the spark actually hurt the screwdriver. The screwdriver had dents all in it, like, oh my God. And I put that thing down. I said, what was I thinking? So anyway, so I called him that night. Okay. And I said, what time do you get off? And he says he gets off at 5. I said, okay, I'm be at the office at the 5. So I said, why don't we do it at 7:30? So do you know, by the time I left the office around 7:15, and I got home, and he came, and I showed him. So he fixed everything. And it was, but he came. My point is, my relationship came. It was 7:30, 7:45 p.m. And he came to my house, and he went up there. He showed me. He fixed it, took off the breaker. He did all this. I should have took the breaker off. I could have killed myself. But
I'm sitting here listening to you like,
okay, all right. But I didn't know what a breaker was. Okay.
That's why.
Okay, so that's why.
Okay.
My point is,
okay,
relationships. Okay. So this guy fixed it, and he fixed that, and then Jasmine said, hey, the hair dryer, when she turns the hair dryer on, that goes off, the GFI or whatever. So he fixed that, and I'm like, oh, and I said to myself, oh my God. So I said, okay, how much I owe you? He said, Mr. Henderson, give me what you want, That's what he said. And he says, it's not a big deal, I was here 30 minutes. So then I paid him, and then he was so happy, but I paid him. But I paid him. I gave him like $100, He was like, oh my God, he didn't expect that. But the relationship, him coming to my house Like 7:45 p.m. is priceless to me. He came to my house and he fixed that. And that problem, that's what I mean by the power of relationships. That is something you need to have that with your doctor. You need to have that with an attorney. You need to have that with your financial planner. You need to have that with your accountant. You need to have that with your air conditioning man. You need to have that with your plumber. You need to have that with your dentist. I mean, you need to have that with your mechanic. I can go on and on. These are things that can help you where you don't have to go a complete stranger, somebody who's gonna rip you off, your mechanic. You need to have these relationships and stop just running around like just finding whoever gonna who this have relationship. Having a relationship is more powerful than having money because if you don't have any money, if you have a relationship, they'll help you and tell you you can pay them later. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by the power of relationship. And I want to really express it to you. That's why I wanted to talk about this show, the power of relationships. I want you to think about it. Who do you know on your team that can help you? Okay. And this is a financial show. So you definitely need to have a relationship. When you go to the bank, you put your money in the bank or the credit union, you don't have a relationship with them. You know, listen, if I get ready to go to the bank and it's closed 5 minutes ago and they see me, they say, let the door, that's Mr. Henderson. That's because I've been in there. I've talked to them. We've talked about different things, have a relationship. I don't just come in there, just here and go. They know who I am. I talk to them. You know what I mean? Power of relationship. If you have your money somewhere, it's Fidelity or Vanguard or whatever, you just a number. That's not a relationship. You got to have a relationship with people to know so they'll know who you are because people who have a relationship get special attention. Okay, what do you think?
Thank you for sharing that story. I would like to let's unpack this a little bit. So it was a wonderful illustration about how you did not know this person. It came from a referral from Tavares, and you started establishing that relationship with him.
Right.
So the first time that
Oh, yeah, I'm not cut you off. And then I told him, I said, you're my electrician from now on. Matter of fact, everybody who I know, you're the electrician too. And he started laughing. That's because your price is good. You won't just try to, you don't come to my house and say, oh my God, this guy got money. I'm going to charge you. He didn't do that. And that made me feel really good. Because most people come to your house, they want to just charge you more based on your house, He didn't do that. And I said, this guy's smart. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So you established a relationship. You just, when Tavares gave you the name didn't come with the relationship.
Correct.
You had to establish the relationship, and you established the relationship and the rapport by him showing up when he said he was going to show up, right? So him doing that, strengthened the relationship, gave some points, him fixing, him not overcharging, him telling you you can pay what you want to pay. I'm the professional, but pay me whatever you want to pay me. And you not taking advantage of that situation and saying, hey, I'm going to pay you. I think he gave you a number, he guessed a number, and then you tipped him above and beyond that number.
Correct.
Right. So all those little things, they seem little, but they really are impactful in what helped you to start establishing a relationship. That's why 2 days later, a week later, when you tried to fix the light switch without getting on YouTube first for some instructions, and you realized that was not your subject matter area of expertise, and you called him, he came at 7:30 at night. Now let's go back. Had Tavares giving you his name and number and you called, and let's say he called and he didn't show up when he said he was going to show up, and then you had to call him back again, the start of that relationship would have already kind of been rocky, right? Because you'd have been like, I don't know if I could count on this person, I don't know. And then let's say he finally comes, and he overcharges you. Would that have still been a relationship that you wanted to continue to establish?
No, if I felt that he took advantage and overcharged me based on my area where I lived, and I would have said this is not my guy.
And so I love that you gave this as an illustration, because for the audience members listening, it's not about the electrician, it's not about Mr. Henderson's light switch or the pergola. It is about the steps that were taken and all the little smaller components that we oftentimes don't realize in how we communicate with people, how we treat people, how we show up when we're supposed to show up, or when we say we're going to show up. When someone calls us, are we annoyed? Are we aggravated? Do we tip them well? If someone says, you pay me what you want to pay me, and you say, well, shoot, all right, I'm gonna pay you. How about $25? Do you think the man would have came back the next time? You know what I mean? So what I take from this story is it's not only about having the name or having the connection. You have to develop that relationship. You have to develop that name and actually make it into a relationship. And it's through experiences and things like that that you get to do that.
Yeah, and you want to establish relationships in every area of what's important in your life. You know,
Mhm.
like you don't want to just you don't have a relationship with your dentist. You know, you really do. The person who's cleaning your teeth. I mean, you want to have a relationship. You want to, you want to make sure that, that y'all have something in common. You do. You
It's
know.
yeah, it takes work. It reminds me a few nights ago, like so I've been looking for something at the office and like going through these files and just trying to find some stuff, right? And I needed to turn something in, and there was someone, a work colleague of mine that does not work in the Henderson Financial Group office, but works in another office out of state. He called and he helped me and he walked me through it and he called me back later on that night and things like that. Now, previously before, I had expressed to him that, we don't have no relationship. We just do business together. That's it. You just want the money and that's it. And that's okay. But I know that we don't have a relationship, and I used that word. I said, we don't have a relationship. Your relationship isn't with me. You just want the money. It's a monetary exchange thing. And that's fine. You serve a purpose. I serve a purpose. However, after that series of events and that night where he was calling and he's helping and it's 9 o'clock and we're both working and doing this and this, and I went home later and I was like, wow, all right. I feel like I got a teammate now. Like I feel like we're fostering that relationship. So the next day when he called, I actually answered the phone. Right? I'm like, hey, you know what I mean? Not like, oh God, like I'll call him back later, that type of thing. So I'm sharing that because it made me think about experiences in our everyday life with people. Sometimes we go through things and we don't want to have experiences with people. And when I say experiences, I'm talking about challenging experiences or intense experiences or experiences that put a little bit of pressure, a little bit of weight on both parties. You don't want to have those, but it is actually when you go through those, oftentimes if you go through them and you get on the other side of them, that you find that you drawn closer to the person. You find that the relationship is actually stronger and it's deepened because you actually went through some things, you had some challenges, you worked through it. I mean, nobody slapped each other's face. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's important to know because oftentimes in this world that we live in, we feel like we're supposed to meet people and have zero challenges. We're supposed to, do business with people and have everybody's supposed to be the same. They're supposed to think how you think. They're supposed to want everything is supposed to be on the same. And if not, then this isn't the person for me. And I'm talking about professionally, personally, friendship rise, platonically. This isn't the person for me because we ran into a challenge or they don't see things the way that I see it. And that's really not the case. So a lot of you are short circuiting your relationships, the potential to develop relationships with people because there may be an experience or a challenge that comes up that you deem as, oh no, I ain't fooling with that person, or oh, do you understand what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. Oh yeah. I know.
And it's important to it's
and
important.
and, and it's very, I'm saying this because I rely on relationships, the people that are in my life, in my circle. We have relationship. I have a relationship with all my clients. It's not just, give me the money, do this, or, we talk about issues. Okay. They call me and say, okay, I'm thinking about buying a car, which way you think I should do it? That's a relationship, someone that you can trust and you feel going to give you good information. There's not an interior motive. It's not just about how much money I can make or whatever, because we do a whole lot of stuff, man, pro bono that we don't charge people for, um and that's having relationships. Some people, like it's a client told me that this person, matter of fact, this client, I went to his house. The old guy, he's like 89 years old. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to his house and it was about 45-minute drive. He had just got out of the hospital. I went to his house. He said he wanted to see me to talk about some things. And I know that he wasn't, doing well. So I want to say, no, you got to come to my office. So I went to on a Saturday after the show, and after I was doing some work in the office, I drove to his house about
Mm-hmm.
45 minutes, and he was so appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
And he had did a deal with someone, and they told him that he needed to sign some paper, and he told them that that he couldn't, an attorney, that he couldn't, he just got out of hospital, he couldn't come. They said they will come to his house, the same 45-minute drive, but they're gonna charge him $500. And he,
Travel fee.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
he just thought that was crazy because he
Mm-hmm.
says I came to his house and I ain't charge him nothing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And that's the relationship that we have. He's been a client of mine, of ours, our firm, for probably about 12 years. I'm from New York, you know.
Mhm.
This person, this attorney, they just say, hey, we're going to come get the documents, but it's going to be $500. You know, had he played golf with them or had a relationship with them, you know, more than just the legal work, I'm pretty sure they would say, okay, I'm going to charge you $500, John. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's why I say it's very important that you all, and we're talking about this because it has a lot to do with financial planning, it has a lot to do with shaping your life. On Wednesday's show, like shows like today, on Wednesdays, it's called Transition, but it deals with the minds. It deals with the practicality of your life and the tools that you need to uh, uh, equip yourself with in order for you to have a great, prosperous financial life. These things count because they cost you money and time. Relationships, I'm telling you, they're worth way more money. And you need to have relationships with key people and key areas of your life that's going to really help you and not set you back. I mean, if your car break down and you don't have a relationship, the guy going to just rip you off, right?
Mhm.
And that's financial planning. That's money. It's the same thing about your air condition. They will rip you off and your plumbing. Okay. But if you do have a relationship, then it will save you some money, which is going to help further develop and help you save money. That's going to help you in terms of your financial plan. What were you saying? I think
Did I do
you
that?
got yeah, you did it. You got a lot of thoughts going on over there.
I think I was just admiring how great I smell. If I did all that, I don't think I was
You was
like, girl, you
admiring how
smell
great you
delicious.
smell. You well, that's why you smelling yourself.
Smell delicious. So if you heard that, I mean, I didn't mean for you to hear it, but it wasn't me being impatient. I was literally like,
You
girl, that's
smelling your cologne.
it's
Okay,
oils,
yeah.
not cologne.
Yeah, okay, your
But yeah, yeah.
oils. Yeah, yeah. Now
Um,
that you mentioned, I do smell it.
it's
Okay.
delicious, amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, but not enough.
Tantalizing.
Not enough to take me off my focus on what I was saying. The smell. Well, that's my daughter. I tell you. Toot toot toot. How you doing, Denise Ward? God help me, Mia. How you doing, Mrs.
As I
Redhead?
always tell you, I bring the excitement to your life. It would be very boring without me. Very, very boring.
Okay, so
So
you
I want to talk about. I do want to say
okay?
something,
I
Mr.
thought you were
Henderson.
still smelling yourself.
I mean,
Go
it's
ahead.
amazing. It's like I wish I could bottle it up and be like, "Yo,
Well,
like,
you had that on last night when you was in my office because when you left, Tony, I said, "What's that smell? I smell." I'm like, "I don't smell something."
it was a different combination, but I was smelling good yesterday too."
Go ahead.
Did you tell him it was me?
Yeah, I told him it was you.
Okay, good. Um, what was I talking about?
You said you would make a comment based on what I just
Oh
said.
yes, I love all your points. Great points. Thank you so much for bringing this topic to
You're
today's
welcome.
show.
You're welcome.
Thank you. What would I do without you bringing these repeating topics to the show?
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Here's the thing. The people who, as I started talking about evaluating your relationships, because I know that there are people who are out there and are like, yes, I'm picking up what you're putting down. You're right. It pays to have a good electrician or AC man or, to have a relationship with these people. But I'm in a place where I've evaluated my present relationships, and my present relationships do not look like, if I'm looking at these relationships as connections and tools to take me on my journey, they don't look like they're going to help me get to the promised land.
Change it.
How do you do that, Mr. Henderson? How do you change? How do I make new relationships? How do I change my relationships? That's the question that I feel that people are asking. They're like, you know what, you're right. Because if you keep doing the same thing, hanging out with the same people, talking about the same conversations, you're going to get the same results. If you want new conversations, new results, you're going to have to hang with new people. Do you just go up at your big ripe age at 65 and say, hey, I want to be your friend? Like, how does that happen?
Well, I'll give you a perfect example, and I'm glad you asked the question. And
Mhm.
some people asking that how they do that. But you notice Orlando, you notice Roberto, my electrician for the last 15, 20 years, when he moved from Miami to Orlando, like
Mhm.
a 4-hour drive, him and his family. I didn't just go around looking. When time came and I needed someone, I asked around, and I asked Tavares, who I trust, who's in our office. And I said, Tavares, do you have or do you know a good electrician? He says, yes, I have just the guy.
Mhm.
So my point is a referral.
Mhm.
That's how you start. You start with referrals. You
Mhm.
don't just go to YouTube or pick up the yellow pages or whatever, or somebody. No, you ask, hey, do you have someone who is pretty good? Referral, man, is the best. Now, I'm not talking about advertising because you've seen them on the radio or television or whatever, or internet advertising. No, that's not a relationship. A relationship is when you know somebody that has good service from this person and you refer them. And that's what I did. I said, Tavares, you know a good electrician? He said, I get just the person for you. And when he came, we hit it off. And I knew somebody. He knows Tavares' dad. He knows Tavares. He's done some work. So I feel good because I know that he's going to treat me right, because otherwise I'm going to tell on him. So the relationship, so if you need relationship with a plumber locally or electrician, that same electrician, who are locally right here, within driving distance, if you need, you call the Henderson. What is that electrician that you told me? And I would refer, listen, I would tell you who I use. I'm not recommending. I will tell you, just like Tavares told me.
Oh my God.
Tavares told me about this guy. It worked out well for me. You ask me, Henderson, do you know someone? I'll say, well, this is the guy who I use.
The reason I'm shaking my head is because I want you all to know that we're going to get 100 calls with people saying, hey, who's that electrician Mr. Henderson talked about? Who? And I'm working, I'm stocking, I'm investment advising, and hey, you didn't call me back about the electrician. So thank you for that, Mr. Henderson.
Well, that's okay. We when you call, you don't have to talk to me, Tavares, or we have the answering service give you the electrician name. That's it, but you got to pass it for. And when you do good work, because let me tell you something. I want you guys to tell people about the Henderson Financial Group. I want all of you all to share what we're talking about. And I want you to refer us, because I think that we're very good and very personable in what we do. And we really like what we do. So refer us, please.
Yeah, referrals. I think referral-based recommendations are generally good. I think that, you can start with the referral, especially when you're seeking a service, like so a laborer, someone who's to provide a service for you. I want to dig a little deeper and talk about the people who are seeking to establish new relationships with their inner circle, with people that they know, not people who are going to come and do some work for them, right? Because that's very important. Why are you laughing?
Because I'm thinking about, I want to use, I'm thinking about the pool man. I'm thinking about anybody.
I know, but the people who are listening to us, we ain't no yellow pages. They're not coming here saying, "Hey, I want to tune." Like they, I understand, and you brought a great point. That's great. They will need that, but people also need relationships so that they can progress for it. That's the spin I'm putting on it.
Yes,
because I can't talk about.
Okay, just like Tavares knew. Okay, you may have a person that have a relationship with a good mechanic, and you ask them. You don't have to call Henderson Finance Group.
No, you're right, but we talked about that already. Now let's talk about the personal relationships that we need to take us places. So let me give you a case in point example. So 2 weeks ago or something, I was 2 weeks ago, I was on Fort Lauderdale Beach driving down Las Olas, and when I was driving down, I'm like, wow, look at how this place developed. Right. Look at how it changed, and it took me back to maybe 20 years ago when you built that condo back on Hendricks Isle and Las Olas. It wasn't popping Las Olas that it is now, right? And I was like, oh my God, my daddy had me run. And I used to dread leaving Miami Lakes, our office in Miami Lakes, to go to Fort Lauderdale, Hendricks Isle, Las Olas, to go and meet the pool people, to go and I was the property manager for this condo building that my father had built. And it wasn't fun. But I was thinking about how much it changed and how much my consciousness changed, right? The way that you were even able to build that condo on Las Olas was due to a relationship that you established while taking a real estate continuing education course, right?
Correct.
So that's what I want to talk with the people about, those types of relationships. I would not have never had the memory of being the property manager, being the association. I was the head of the association, child.
I said we had to have a homeowners association, HOA, for this condo. I said, I need you to be the head of the HOA.
Yeah, I used to take my friends over there. Look at this, look at that, penthouse suite and everything. But anyway, you don't need to know about that. But I would have never had that experience. And fast forward to now, to even think back to dang, 20 years ago, I was doing this. Had you not developed the relationship with the person who was building now, that's the type of relationships I want our audience to understand, that because you just went to take your CE, continue education, right?
Yeah.
You just went to class for real estate. You went in person, 40 hours. And most times when people take CE, they're not excited for it. They're not like, oh, I got to go take, they're like, oh man, I got to go take CE. But somewhere along that class, you were sitting there doing your continuing education. You met a gentleman. He's from Argentina, right?
Right.
From Argentina. He was building buildings.
Contracting builder, right?
Right.
He was building on South Beach, right?
And before you know it, your black self from Opalaka, Junebug, built a condo on Las Olas.
That's right.
Because of what?
Relationships.
Yeah. So that is the power of That's what my mind goes when we're talking about the power of relationships. And so when I say the people who are looking at their current relationships and where they are and looking at where they want to go, and you've had these current relationships for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, maybe you had these relationships for 6 months. Maybe you had it for 6 years and you like, wait a minute, I have my hopes, dreams, aspirations. I know that I'm meant for more. I know that I have the skills and the talent, but the people who I'm with, the people who I have my closest relations, I can't call nobody and say, hey, you want to build a building? I can't call anybody and say, hey, do you know somebody to pull up? I can't, you know what I mean? I can't call anybody to even say, hey, do you want to have a mastermind? Do you want to, what are your 2024 goals? Where are you? So for the people who find themselves in that space where they're evaluating their current relationships, because at this age, what you say, by the time you're 40, you should have learned all the lessons, right? So at this place, at this stage in the game, your closest relationships, that SHIPS in relationships, they definitely have to be taking you somewhere.
Yes.
And I'm not saying to make every relationship transactional. That's not what I'm saying. But they have to be taking you somewhere. They could be taking you somewhere mentally, exposing you to mental concepts that you never knew existed. They could be taking you somewhere spiritually, health wise. You see this person that you have a close relationship with, they don't eat gluten. They eat this. That now all of a sudden you didn't even know what gluten was. You start, you know what I mean? So when I say evaluate your relationships, and scrub those, that evaluation, those results up against your visions, your goals, your dreams. I mean, that's a whole cheat code right there.
As you were speaking, I was thinking, as you were talking, I just heard something the other day with 50 Cent. He said, let me tell y'all something. Everybody who you meet is either making a deposit in your life or a withdrawal.
Yeah.
You heard that?
Mhm.
Either deposit or withdrawal.
Mhm.
Basically, that's what you're saying. Either, they either making a deposit or they come to take from you.
Yeah.
Withdraw,
Yeah.
draw, or they deposit into your life. And he says some people he identify, he don't care if it's family member, whatever. They withdrawn,
Yeah.
he ends it. He says, I don't have time
Yeah.
for you because you're just coming to withdraw from me.
Mhm.
You're not coming to deposit anything worthwhile, upward mobility, good for me. So I guess when you're looking at relationships, a lot of people, especially grown people, 40, 50 years old, spend a lot of time with nothingness.
Correct.
It's a lot of time with nothingness. And when you start getting 40 years old, man, you got to say, listen, I'm serious now. I got a gain, I mean, it's not like you're using somebody, but everybody should be able to bring something and make a deposit in your life some kind of way. If they're not making a deposit, then especially just a lot of negative energy and negative stuff, it's just, it's withdrawn. It's taken away. And you have to really be serious about your life if you want to make a change and have a better life. You have to. You got to get rid of that. That's why having a good relationship, understanding your relationship and what kind of relationships you have in your life, you need to take an assessment to say, why aren't you, or why are you, or where are you going? You really have to take an assessment. And it's not just that, that's why we take an assessment on your money. Where your money going? What you're doing? You know what I mean? And so who you're hanging around, who your relationships with, how are they helping you? If you're telling them you're going to start saving your money, and they go, forget you, I'm spending all my money. Then you're different. You're in a different crew. You know what I mean?
You need to evaluate that relationship, and make some choices, right? So when it gets to the point that you evaluate your closest relationships, especially because you're trying to go somewhere. If you're watching us on the World Wide Web, you are trying to go somewhere. You don't want to just be stagnant, right? So you're watching us and you evaluate your relationships, and you're like, all right, Hyacinth and Mr. Henderson, I do see these relationships and where they have gotten me and where they have the potential to get me. And I want to change that. So then the next question becomes, well, how do I make new relationships? I don't know what to do. Do I just walk up and say, hey, like, how does this work? Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to change you. So a lot of times people like to say we attract who we are or what we are. And I believe that your light is going to attract everybody. Like, especially if you are light, if you have light and then you may be lacking self-trust and self-confidence, you're going to attract everybody. That's just what happens. They come to the light. However, who you hold alignment with is more so about who you are. So if you have been holding alignment with somebody for 6 months, 6 years, 6 decades, and you decide, you know what, I've been holding alignment with them. We've been friends. They ain't beating me. They ain't, stealing and robbing, killing. But we've been rocking and rolling for the past 2 decades. And you now look up and say you want to change something. You got to look at yourself, and you have to look at yourself and see what part of you was in alignment with them for that period of time, and what part of you that was in alignment with them for that period of time needs to change so that you can now align with your new desires, your new dreams, wishes, and hopes and visions. Because here's the thing, who you are that's hanging with the people that's doing the same thing day in and day out, you cannot be that person and achieve the goals and dreams and desires and wishes. You can't be that person. So when we first peel back the layers and say, who am I around? It's not to point the finger and be like, y'all ain't nothing. You ain't never gonna be nothing. Your mama and daddy wasn't nothing, and I'm leaving y'all. That's not what that's for. That's one step in the process. The purpose of that process is so that you can align and say, okay, you can, excuse me, you can observe and say, okay, I see I've been hanging with y'all. This the result. This is what I want to do. These are your qualities. If you have those qualities and we roll dolls, guess who also got them qualities? I got them qualities too.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way I will hold alignment, consistent alignment with somebody I don't have the same qualities with. That's just metaphysics. That's energy. That's just how it works. Right. So now when you dissect that and you determine which qualities they have, aka which qualities you have that are not going to take you to the promised land, now you got to do your inner work. Because why is this important? Because if you don't, if you just say, okay, I'm gonna do what y'all said, I'm gonna evaluate, and these are the relationships I have, and I'm dumping y'all, and y'all ain't gonna take me to where I want to go, and I'm gonna keep moving forward, and I'm leaving y'all, and you go out there and try to make new relationships with people who are at a different level, you're not going to be in alignment with them. So what that looks like is you may be able to get in the room but not make no connections. You may be able to get in the room, make a connection when you have coffee, you may have drinks, but they're not giving you no business. You may be able to get in the room, make a connection where you see them, but they don't invite you to for more personal things, right? So you're like, dang, what is it about me? They may see you like, hey girl, hey, but you are not establishing a relationship with these people because there is a part of you that is not in alignment with them and who they are. Don't make it right or wrong. Don't make it good or bad. It means we got to do somewhat self-reflecting. So another word that goes with relationships is reflecting.
Yeah, because a lot of people who are upward mobile and they are going places, a lot of them associate their circle is people um, that can align with them and their goals and their objectives.
Mhm.
They really are.
Mhm.
They'll have a cookout and something. They'll have their accountant there. They'll have their
Correct.
attorney there. And then they'll have other people there. When they get there, they all kind of like network and they meet each other. That's not the purpose, but
You
everybody can
become
serve.
friends.
Yeah,
You develop that relationship. Remember, a relationship is different from just knowing somebody
right,
or knowing their name or knowing their number. There are some people that you know and you don't have no relationship with. It's like we know you, but we don't really have no relationship with you.
right.
So you got to look at that. I really always want you to point the finger back at yourself and say, what can I do to improve? Because that's the only way you're going to change anybody else. That's the only way you're going to change your circumstances, your environments. I have relationships because I had to change. The relationships that I have now, Hyacinth from 10 years ago, couldn't have these same relationships, baby. I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know right now. Good
You've
have these same
outgrown them. You've
relationships.
outgrown them,
The,
right?
the qualities, the characteristics, the essence of who Hyacinth was at that time, there was a misalignment, right?
Yeah.
So I want our audience to really, really think about this when we talk about the power of relationships. You can change at any time. You can listen, you can rebrand yourself, honey. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can rebrand, get into a new circle. And most of the times when you get into a new circle, if you have done your inner work, because you cannot take old milk and put it in a new glass and believe, hey, I'm milk. Why y'all don't drink me? I'm good for you. They gonna smell that sourness before they even put their lips on the glass. They gonna be like, what are you doing? Who let you in?
I'll give you an example. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
you got Johnny, and
Mm-hmm.
let's say Johnny is a correctional officer, and let's say you work, in a warehouse, you know, uh, at nighttime, Home Depot at nighttime or whatever, right? So your relationship with Johnny, y'all get together and y'all go play basketball or y'all shoot pool or whatever y'all do. You know what I mean? Uh, but when you think about that, neither of you all can really add other than just laughing or whatever, just go on party or whatever, go shoot some pool. That's about it. That's about it in terms of upward mobility. Now, if Johnny the correctional officer also he on his side gig, he what he did was he fixed up houses. So he can have his 9 to 5 job, whatever he correctional officer, he in prison, he with the prisoners. He's in, he's in jail. But when he gets off, his side hustle is he buys and fixes up houses. Now you in the warehouse, even though his main job is he's a correctional officer, but on the side, he buys and refix and refurbishes houses. That's a relationship that you can have your set thing, but now y'all doing other things. But if you have a relationship with someone and they just working for the state, the county, and they pushing paper, whatever they doing, and that's it, and then you have the same thing, and you kind of have the same kind of job, and that's it. And y'all just, hey, y'all get together, go to concerts. Y'all not really adding. You have friendship, but you're not really adding a whole lot of value financially, upper mobility. You're not. It's just you're just there, but it doesn't really help. You can't help him or her. You can't. But if you all had some specialty that you can do where you have a relationship like that on the side or whatever, then you cook it with grease, okay, or oil, or
Avocado
avocado
oil.
oil, right?
Good job.
Okay. Then you can do something, and that's what it's about, and that's what a lot of people lack. They lack that. Now, if you got a friend and he works for a rental car place, and then you work for the warehouse at night, BJ's at overnight, then you could probably tell him about the best prices or whatever, some good stuff, and he can help. And then that person work at the rental car, when you get ready to rent a car, it's some value. See what I mean? That's relationship. So you have to evaluate the people who you are hanging around, are spending a lot of time with. How are you helping each other other than gossiping or going to the concert or chasing women or men or whatever? It's got to be something much more that brings you growth. That's what I want you to look at, especially when younger. You want to look at that. And when you're older, by the time you're older, you're 67 years old, you should have some old relationships that you can rely on. You need the door hung. You need to get some windows replaced. You want to have relationships with people who do windows or roofing or whatever, a roofer. You want to know somebody. Those are things that's going to help soften the blow to your pocket and also help you when you feel good that you have someone. You don't want to be all alone. The older you get, the more relationships that you need to bring you more comfort and give you more security, that someone's not ripping you off and someone you have a relationship. You got more time, the older you get, you're supposed to. I mean, when you're 6 years old, you don't really have a whole lot of relationship. But the older you get, the relationship has to be forming. And this is something that a lot of people have not been taught about, how to look around and see clearly, the big picture of how life is shaping. A lot of people don't get this. Some people right now, 40, 50 years old, they have no relationships and they missed it. That's like not comprehending and understanding the way life works. But this is the way life works. Life works, and it works well for you the more relationships and contacts that you have. And that's what we're telling you about. Today is on Wednesday's show. It's called Transition. And transition, you got to transition. You got to change your mind, change your thoughts, change your belief. Whatever you believe in, if they're not yielding you better than what you had before, then it's time to transit. You got to change. You got to make, in order to do better, you got to move. You got to make some change. And don't be afraid to change. If you want to grow, you cannot grow without change. So that's why this show is called Transitioning Your Thoughts, Transitioning Your Mind.
I love it. Change yourself. The key to new relationships starts with you. So as you listen to this show and you start evaluating your relationships and you want more, you should want more. Don't let anybody guilt you for wanting more. You should, even if you think you have the best now, is something better than what you have, right?
Always.
That's the essence of life, is evolving. And when I say that, I'm not saying that from a space of lack and not being grateful for what you have. You can be grateful for what you have and also want an expanded reality. You're like, okay, I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for these experiences. I'm grateful for these relationships. They got me here. And now I'm ready to expand to more. That's an affirmation. That's a prayer. That's an ask. That's whoever you talk to. That is just that. Like, I'm grateful for this and now I'm ready to expand for more. Okay, you're ready to expand for more. Well, let me prepare you. You got to get prepared. Are you prepared? So now when you say I'm ready to expand for more, then your next ask is, please prepare me for more. Because I know that I cannot go into this networking event. I can't go to this country club. I can't go around these people with the same energy, same essence, same gum pop. I can't bring that there and expect to fit in and expect to make alignments and expect to establish relationships. You just can't do that. And so that's where, when you ask for expansion and expanding for more and you say, I'm ready, then you ask for yourself to be expanded. You ask for yourself to be shown your faults and your flaws and what you need to work on so that you can change. Because I always say, and I firmly believe, that if you still have air in your body, You woke up this morning, there's still purpose in you, and you can change whatever it is you want to change. The circumstance does not matter. What you see with your two eyes, that is a result of old experiences, old actions, old relationships, and old thoughts. Right now, here today, on March 6th, 2024, you can decide that you want new, you want better, and guess what? You'll have new experiences, but it's going to require you to change, and that's the key. That's the key right there. Like, you got to know you got to change, because if not, people are going to be like, how are you talking about you want this and you ain't changed nothing about you? You say you want a husband, but you still out in the street 7 days a week. Like, you say you want a woman, but you still doing XYZ. Like, you can't do that. You say you want financial freedom and wealth building, but you still spending all your money. You budgeting $5,000 to go on vacation, but won't invest $500 a month for yourself. Something wrong with that, right? So it's a good opportunity for you to look at yourself.
Hey, yes, I gotta go.
Anything? Yeah.
It's 1:32. Okay, so that's it today for our show. That's it today for today's show. We hope you learned something. Hope that you can use something that we said, and please share it. Share it with your loved ones and friends, because oftentimes we don't hear this message. So that's why we're here. We every Wednesday we're going to talk about things that help you develop it and create and expand your mind and your thinking. The show is called Transitions, and we really mean that. I'm Robert Henderson Jr., President, Founder, CEO of the Henderson Financial Group. This is my daughter, Hyacinth Renee Henderson.
I couldn't cross my fingers quick enough.
Hyacinth Henderson. She's co-CEO of the Henderson Financial Group. We're here every day, Monday through Fridays. I'm here on Saturdays after I do my show. Tell them about our show.
Saturday. Yes, Saturday at 9 a.m. in the AM, the Understanding Money Show with Mr. Henderson and James T. Thomas comes on every Saturday. They talk about understanding money. So all things finance. We feel that the Wednesday show is the preparation for the Saturday show. You got to get your mind right. Then you go to listen to the Saturday show and get your money right. So that's what the Saturday show is about. They will be live on Saturday at 9 a.m.
Excellent.
All right. Until next time. Peace.
Peace.